Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's good to have you all here. So if you are new here, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my new followers. I see I have some, new people in the crib. Thank you all very much for stopping by. I'm happy to have you all here and I hope you like it here. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for sticking with me and for stopping by as well. Also, I would say thank you all on your beautiful congratulatory messages on getting my permanent residence. I see your comments and I appreciate all of your comments. Thank you very, very much. So let's get into the details of this video. So in the previous video I dropped a few days ago, I saw you all's interactions and a lot of you have some questions in that video. And although some of the questions you all have, I have already talked about them in my previous videos. If you can go back to the videos, or I might put the link to those videos in this particular one, I might put a clip somewhere so you all can watch it. And also, I'll be answering some of those questions as well, because I'm sure some of those questions I've also not made a video of them. But before we get started, I'm going to be telling you all what I did after I got my permanent residency confirmation, because this video is also for those who are yet to get their permanent residence confirmation. So when they get it, they'll know what to do. So let's get into the details of this video. Hopefully this video doesn't get too longer than it should, hopefully. So let's get into the details of it. First, I'll be talking about what I did after I got the confirmation of my permanent residence. The first thing you want to do if you're in this phase, for those who are already in Canada, I think it's going to be different for those who are outside of Canada, because for those who are outside of Canada, I don't think they really have to do much until they come into Canada. So for pre-existing immigrants who are already in Canada before getting their confirmation of permanent residence, once you get that document, it's called ECOPR. It is ECOPR, which is the electronic confirmation of permanent residence. So when you get that document, what you want to do is you want to print out that document, then you take it to Service Canada. You notify them, then you have your change of social insurance number, because that is very, very important to have your change of social insurance number. So after you do that, then you're going to have to sign it. You're going to have to sign and date that document, because you would need that document for future references, for future purposes, especially when you're going to be becoming a Canadian citizen. It's going to be required from you. So you have to keep that document safe and secure. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to inform your employers. If you're already working, you have to update them. You notify them that you've gotten your permanent residence. That is one important thing you don't want to forget to do. You want to tell them you're no longer on work permits, but you're now a permanent resident of Canada. So you want to update your employers. You also want to update them of your new social insurance number, which is very, very important. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to update your bank. In fact, I think you have to go to your bank before you go to your employer. So you call your bank and let them know of your change in social insurance number. I think that's basically the most important things you need to do. Then you have to await your PR card. I think the PR card takes for the 7 working days. Yeah, it takes for the 7 days from the website, from the RSSC website. You're going to see it on your portal. It's going to tell you how many days it's going to take for them to send you your PR card to your home address. So ensure the information you put, your home address, is correct, and you know exactly what it is. So I think that's just basically what you need to do while you wait for your PR card. Yeah, I'm still in the process of waiting for my PR card. And when I get it, I'm going to notify you guys as well. So yes, let's proceed to you all's questions. You all's questions is very important to me, because I know what it feels like, being in a situation where you want answers, you need answers because you're in that situation, or because you want a way to move forward, or you also want to be in a place where you see someone who is in that position and is always what you've always wanted. Gosh, am I making sense? Anyways, I know what it feels like being in a situation and needing answers and needing directions and guidance. So I'll try as much as possible to see if I can help you all with that. This question here says, the first question says, this is from Prasadika. Oh, sorry if I butchered your name. So the question says, how did you get a scholarship in Nova Scotia? So I talked about this in my video. I said that I got this scholarship from my home country. I was back home in Nigeria when I applied to the school, Then I wasn't even aware the school was giving out scholarships then, right? Since it was a pilot program, I think that was when CCA program opened newly, and they were giving out scholarships to students who were interested in studying the course. But first, you had to show your interest in the program by, registering in the school, getting offer letter, paying a specific amount. Yeah, I remembered I paid a specific amount. I paid application fee, and then I also paid, yeah, I paid part of my tuition fee, because originally my tuition fee was 20,000 Canadian dollars, and we were required to pay half of the tuition, which is 10,000 Canadian dollars from our home country, signifying our interest in the program. But from the get go, when I was in my home country, I received a scholarship letter. I received a scholarship letter when I applied to the program. It says that I got on a scholarship, but due to some delays, I had some delays. Some were monetary, some were immigration process, and so forth. Most of it was the delay in my visa being confirmed. So at the time, by the time my visa was approved, I lost that scholarship. They told me it was no longer valid. That is, the scholarship had ended. And since I didn't resume at the time I was meant to resume, that scholarship had ended. So I was required to pay 10,000 Canadian dollars before I could proceed with my schooling. Like I put a backstory about this. Look for that video and add the clip here. So yeah, I paid 10,000 Canadian dollars before I left my home country. But by the time I came into Canada, by the time I resumed school, we all were given that full scholarship we were promised originally. I guess the rationale behind that was to get real interested students who were really interested in the program, to show that they were really, really interested in it. It was somehow, promising you scholarship, and then after some months, you don't show up for that startup date or for that resumption date. They tell you you're no longer among the scholarship students, you no longer have the scholarship, and then you are required to pay tuition fee. And then when you resume the school, you were given the full scholarship, right? So yeah. Anyways, the tuition fee I paid, that 10,000 Canadian dollars, by the time I resumed school, I was given a full refund of that 10,000 Canadian dollars. So hence, I'm a scholarship student. I didn't have to pay tuition anymore. So I don't know how, if I answered your question correctly, but like I said, it was a pilot program the province of Nova Scotia had in conjunction with my school to produce or to bring in CCA students, which the government had to fund for. Like I said, it was a pilot program at the time. So yeah, hopefully I've answered your question. Another question: are they still funding international students? So obviously, there are still schools who are funding international students, but the schools and the programs being funded is really what I can't tell. But if you're asking regarding the program I took, which is my CCA program, if they are still funding them, no, my school doesn't fund CCA students anymore. As much as I can remember, which I was still in talks with students from my school as of last week, new students from my school, new sets, they said they had to pay their full tuition fee. So that shows that the pilot program, which I benefited from, had ended. There is no more scholarship for my program. Maybe there might be other scholarship programs in other provinces or in other schools. I do not know. But for the school I graduated from, they no longer hold a scholarship program. You also said, how do I go about applying? This is Tinashe. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrongly. I'm bad with names. And you also asked, how do I go about applying? Well, the school I attended was Oxford College, Oxford International College. So I'm going to be telling you guys the schools in Nova Scotia that are specialized in CCA programs. At the end of this question and answer session, I'm going to be telling you what schools. So here you see, how do I apply? How do I go about applying? I think if you're going to my school, you just have to type Oxford International College in Nova Scotia. Then you're going to see details about the school, and it's very, very explanatory and easy to proceed from there. And the next question says, called to wealth. It says, which school did you go for your study in Canada? It is Oxford International College. That was the school I graduated from. This person asks that, Jennifer Warrow, thank you very much. So your question says, for someone who has been People has been telling me to go for PhD. Please, can a PhD student apply for PR? Someone that came into Canada as a PhD student. Of course, you can. I mean, you are a PhD student. That is that is even the highest of highest qualifications, if I'm not wrong. Congratulations on getting to that height. Honestly, it's a big deal. So yes, you can apply for PR. I think it depends on your skill set, your job description, I guess. But depending and also depending on the province which you are, you can go through the express entry. I mean, you have your BSc, you have your masters, and your PhD. So yes, you can go through the express route depending on what province you are in and the job you have. So depending on the job, you can do AIP. You can go through the Atlantic Immigration Province. That is if you are in an Atlantic province. You can go through the Atlantic Immigration Program or you can go through the PNP and be sure that the company or the employers you work for, they support this immigration pathway. You know, they have connections to it that they can send you documents you need to apply for this through these programs, you know, for your PR. And if you don't have any of this, like you said, you're still a student. If you're still a student, then I think you can still go through express entry. You can submit, you can create an application, you know, create your portal, put all your documentations, probably pending when you're going to be done with your PhD program, if you've started already, or if you're in the process of completing your PhD program with your qualifications, and hopefully the program you're going for or the skill sets you're going to have at the end of the day is something Canada requires. You can go through the express entry route. Yeah. Hopefully, I answered your question correctly. Christian Amadou, is this CCA program still available for international students to study? Yes, it is. CCA program is available to international students to study. Currently, there are still students, you know, studying this. In the seminar yesterday about the CCA program, I was asked to pay 1,000 CAD. So, what reason were you asked to pay 1,000 Canadian dollars? Is it for the application fee, or is it just to receive information? You know, it depends on why they were asking you to pay 1,000. And is it the school that was asking you to pay this 1,000 Canadian dollars? If it's the school and if it's the application fee, probably you have to research more on the school to find out if that is their policy or their rules, so you don't end up getting scammed. I did pay $1,000 from my home country when I applied to my school, and that was for the application fee. So I do not know why the way you were asked to pay 1,000 Canadian fee. If it's for your application fee, then that might be the school rules. You have to verify properly so you don't get scammed. But if it's just a seminar shouldn't ask you to pay for 1,000 Canadian fee, because seminars are meant to pass information. That is what seminars are for. Yeah, this other person says, I'm really interested in CCA, but finance is my constraint. Can you guide me on how to go about scholarship? So I already answered this. For CCA programs, I don't think they are giving out scholarship to international students anymore. From what I'm seeing on the website now, so I went to a list of schools that are giving out or teaching CCA courses in Nova Scotia, Canada. I don't know about other provinces. Other provinces are going to name it something different. So for CCAs, it is continuing care assistants. We're also known as support workers. We're also known as healthcare assistants. We're known as nursing aides. We're also known as certified nursing assistants. That those are just the different names. So each provinces have different names for them. Some even call it PSW, personal support worker. So it depends on the province and the name they call these job positions. So for Nova Scotia, there are only a few colleges that offer these courses, and I'm going to tell you guys these colleges. I'm saying this based on this question. This person asked me that for Nova Scotia, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 colleges that are offering the CCA programs. One is Cape Breton Business College, CBBC, Cape Breton Business College. The other one is Eastern College here in Nova Scotia as well. And the other one is Island Career Academy. They also offer CCA programs. Then the next one is NSCC. That is in Nova Scotia Community College. The next one is Oxford International College, Halifax, which was the school I graduated from. Next school is Northwood Career College. So these are the list of colleges that are teaching or giving these courses. These are the list of colleges. So, but you also want to take advantage of the fact that some of these colleges have affiliation with companies who hire students after graduation of their courses. And one of those colleges is Northwood. Northwood is a company, it is a retirement nursing home, it is everything related to continuing care. They have, colleges as well to train students who want to participate in these programs as well. So I will employ you to make your researches on these colleges I mentioned about. Another thing I want to talk about is that for funding and scholarships, these colleges do not give out scholarships anymore. They only give out free tuition to Canadian citizens and permanent residents for now. For international candidates, for immigrants who are coming in and want to study these programs are available as well, but you have to pay the tuition fee. I do not know if they have some hidden scholarship programs there, or giving out partial scholarships. I do not know, but it is only by the time you have registered or submitted an application that you can find out. Just like my school, as of then, while I was still trying to apply, it was only after you must have registered and showed your interest by paying your application fee that you would find out if there are partial scholarships available for international students. So I'll employ you go through the school's website and make more verifications yourselves. I mean, I've given you the name of the schools that offer this program here in Halifax or here in Nova Scotia. So another thing I'll be talking about is, some of you asked me for schools that might be giving out scholarships. There are schools that are likely giving out scholarships to international students, but now it is how to find out those schools. And some of these schools, they are it is only when you've made, when you've registered, when you've showed that you're really a student or you want to be a student, that you can find out in and out of these things. Some schools which I checked here that may be giving out scholarships in Canada. Some universities are: one, University of Toronto. University of Toronto might offer scholarship to international students who are pursuing their master's and doctorate programs. So it says here that I can range from 10,000 to 15,000 Canadian dollars. This is a university that are giving out scholarships to international students. So it depends on the program you're going for, the program they are giving out these scholarships for. Another university is University of British Columbia, UBC. So these ones are also giving out scholarships to international students for undergraduate students that are merit-based. So you have to go to the school to find out, the merit or the requirements to qualify for these scholarship programs. And another one is McGill University. McGill University offers scholarships to undergraduate students up to 12,000 Canadian dollars. And it says it's renewable for multiple years. So you want to go check out McGill University to know what programs are eligible for this scholarship, their merit points and their requirements to qualify for this. You also want to check out University of Waterloo. University of Waterloo provides scholarships for undergraduate and graduate international students up to 2,500 to 50,000 Canadian dollars. So head over to University of Waterloo's website and make the necessary findings you need to find out to see if you qualify for any of these scholarships. Another one is University of Calgary. University of Calgary offers scholarships for undergraduates and graduate international students up to 60,000 Canadian dollars. Like I said, most of these universities giving out these scholarships, it is program based, program specific, and you also have to meet a certain requirements. So head over to these universities I mentioned, to their websites, to find out the requirements that are needed. And if you qualify, who knows, you might have what these universities need to give out scholarships, and you might just be a beneficiary of this scholarship. So don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it, guys. I've talked about a whole lot in this video. That is that for this video. I hope I answered some of your questions, and I hope this helps. So I'm going to be putting out another video. I don't want this video to be long. I want to be clear, precise, and straight to the point in my videos. And if there are some things you don't understand about what I said, please also leave your questions in the comment section below. And I hope this helps. Thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye. Talking loud and you know plenty. You know what I'm talking about, 'cause you just